So, topic for tonight. Do you feel like you are not heard? I'm so serious. Today, I was having a conversation with one of my best friends, and she said that I was sensitive, that over the years I got sensitive, and that I always want people to agree with what I'm saying, right? It was a situation that came up that I wanted to talk to her about, but I talked to my other best friend about it, and she kind of filled her in, and that was the discussion, like, and we didn't get too deep into the conversation, but that's what she said, and it kind of made me feel some type of way, but it's not nothing that I would never hear from her anyway. Like, it's not nothing, there's no surprise to me, right, at all. But I will say this: I don't feel like I'm heard. That's it. That's all. I just don't feel like I'm heard. I don't think that people acknowledge what I say. I don't care whether you agree with it or you disagree with it. It's not a right or wrong. It's just like, do you understand where I'm coming from? Or do you just decide to not acknowledge where I'm coming from? And if that's the case, that's problematic, right? I think people that like to just sweep things under the rug or let everything go, that becomes a bigger issue. When you can look at either side, because sometimes I say that about other situations too with other people. Like, you always try to find a problem with everything. Me, now, I don't do all that. I don't be trying to find no problem with everything, because everything ain't no issue. I'm going to be completely honest. But I do feel like when I'm saying something, regardless whether you agree with it or not, just acknowledge what I'm saying, because that makes me feel better. It doesn't have to do with you saying yes or no. I agree with you. You're right. No, just see it from my perspective that this is how I received something that made me feel some type of way. Even if you got to put it in a different perspective for me, I respect that. Even if you be like, well, did you look at it from this side? And sometimes when people appear, when they already pissed off, or whatever the case may be, sometimes you gotta let them come down a little bit and let them put things in perspective too. I'm one of those people, right? But I'm not a person that seeks problems and issues in every situation. I actually prefer not to. I like things good. Like, I don't like no problems. I don't like no issues. I don't like drama. But I'm not going to be fake. And I'm not going to sit back and not call something out for exactly what it is. And nobody not going to gaslight me into thinking that I'm bugging. And over my course of my life, I'm not even going to say as I'm older, since a kid, people would like to gaslight me that what I'm saying is wrong. And I'm like, I'm not wrong, though, because just like voila, exactly what I said was the truth. But as easily as you don't want to acknowledge what I said as it being right, regardless of the situation, you equally won't acknowledge that it was the truth, right? So I don't know what people will call that, but I just know that I know I'm not the only person that felt like that. You're not problematic because you call things for exactly what it is, right? And that doesn't mean that you should sit back and look for issues in every situation, because, to be completely honest, everything don't need to be acknowledged, every single thing. But people's feelings are valid. And I think when people tell you how they feel about something, that should be acknowledged. You should never discredit or make people's feelings be invalid. That's not fair to them, because that makes people feel like they don't matter. And everybody does matter, regardless whether you agree with what they're saying or not. That's not the point. And I think people get all of this misconstrued. People think that you need a yes man and all of this. Nobody really needs that. Acknowledge how people feel. You could feel how you want to feel about it, but the acknowledgement of it is just saying, listen, I get where you're coming from. That's it. People don't even want to do that. I think that'd be too much for people to even acknowledge people or acknowledge situations, and it make people feel like how they feel not important. But yet, if it was other people, situations, they not wrong for how they feel. So I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if anybody get what I'm trying to say, but it's okay. It's like it's okay. Whatever, to me, how I was raised, well, my grandmother was good for the goose is good for the gander, right? But everybody don't feel like that. So sometimes it's like, people want you to say, oh, don't worry about that, shake that off, don't feel like that. Yeah, everything can't just be shook off and you can't feel like that. Certain things can be, but other things can't, and people feelings can't. You shouldn't to discredit people's feelings. And that's how I feel, right? But somebody told me a while ago, one of my good friends was having a conversation, and he said to me, point blank period, you just don't feel heard. And I was going to get super defensive like I do, but I didn't. And I was like, no, I don't. And that's the first time somebody acknowledged how I felt without me even saying it. Somebody actually acknowledged how I felt about something. And I always felt comfortable with that person, especially having those kind of conversations, because I always felt heard, regardless if they agree with it or not, because that's nothing. Don't want to agree with it, but the acknowledgement and putting things in perspective from another person's point of view, it even helped me, because in a lot of situations, yeah, maybe I overreacted. A lot of times I didn't, because when the shit's full, I ring true. I'm like, see, nobody wanted to acknowledge it when I said it, but when it happened, now everybody want to acknowledge it. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Now everybody want their ends on it. I don't want no ends. I just knew what I was saying. I wasn't wrong. But in any event, I know I'm not the only person that feel like that. I tell a lot of jokes. I think I'm funny. I don't care if nobody else do, but yeah, I know other people felt like that, and I noticed that a lot of people don't talk about not feeling hurt, and it comes from childhood trauma. To be completely honest with you, being blamed for stuff you did that you really didn't do, and being shushed, and just taking getting in trouble for things that you had no control over, getting blamed for stuff you have no control over, and when you try and defend yourself, it's not acknowledged. Like, you're not, like, you gotta be shushed, you gotta be quiet, you gotta take whatever consequences given to you. So when I had to deal with that as a young kid, as I got older, I don't even play with none of that shit. So anytime I feel some type of way about something, I'm saying so even when I'm in rooms and situations, I always feel like I'm the person fighting, always gotta fight the good fight, because I believe in fairness and equality. I definitely do, all across the board. So maybe that's why I be so super sensitive about a lot of things. And it's not, this is just something I've been my whole life, because having to defend myself, I'm one of those people that always wanted somebody to defend me when I wasn't wrong. Like, who's going to be there to defend me when I'm not wrong? Like, when I'm getting in trouble for something that I really didn't do, and I'm getting blamed for something that was out of my control, it's nobody there defending me. You know what I'm saying? So as I got older, I see when I'm in a lot of different rooms, people gravitate to me with a lot of issues. I don't know how we diverge into this conversation, but people always gravitate to me when they have a lot of issues, things going on with in their life and stuff like that. And I'm not just an understanding person, I'm an overstanding person, because I get a lot of stuff, and I always acknowledge people's feelings. I always acknowledge where they're coming from. I never discredit or make them feel invalidated by how they feel. Now, that don't mean I ain't gonna chew you up and tell you, hey, listen, this is what you should do, or this is how you can make it better, or whatever the case may be, because I'm definitely that friend. I'm always going to tell you how to help better your life, right? Make your life better. That's just who I am. I'm a Virgo. That's what we do. We the healers. That's what we do. Get people life organized for them so they could go out into the world and be great. But, I always feel like when it comes to me, I don't always get that same grace. And I also learned from one of my other friends that I be expecting people to be like me, and everybody is not like me. And as old as I am, you would think, well, why wouldn't you know that? Because in this perfect world, I don't care if you're not like me. I just care that you do the right thing. I don't care about that else. I just care that you do the right thing. And when you're dealing with me, I expect you to do the right thing. You know why? Because I learned the golden rule is treat people how you want to be treated. So me personally, I treat you how I want to be treated and how I think you should be treated. And then after a while, I treat you how you decide you want to be treated. And that could go either way, however you see fit, right? But I guess that's an issue that I always work on, because I do expect fairness across the board, and I know people are not good people, and I got highly sensitive to that over the last few years, where I could call people out on their stuff immediately. I've always been hypersensitive when it comes to a lot of things, but over the years, it's just that sensitivity of knowing good people and bad people, people that ain't no good and people that just ain't right, people that's dealing with things that they don't want to talk about, people that be hiding things. I'm just so super sensitive to a lot of stuff, and I could call it out. I try to stay out of people's business, but once you get kind of into my energy, it's so easy for me to just be like, boom, right? I already know what's going on here, but I don't like getting in people's business, and I would definitely say that I'm not one of the people that like to be in people's business. I don't like being in people's business. I don't want to be bothered. When I'm home to myself, I don't even think about people or their business. But yeah. Anyway, this is Sasha's world. That's, you see what it say on my header. This is Sasha's world, right? So again, how many people feel like they're not heard? You're not the problem. I'm here to tell you you're not the problem. And I'm here to tell you that people want to acknowledge what they want and disregard the rest. And it's an unfortunate situation, because a lot of times you're not wrong. Like, I ain't saying you always right, because we ain't perfect, and we'll hate for people to get in the comments and be screaming how you not always right, you not perfect. It ain't even about that. At the end of the day, you're not wrong. People just decide to acknowledge what they want and disregard what they don't. Okay? Welcome to my TED Talk.